Houston Astros baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by H-E-B. No store does more than my H-E-B. And by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. Orbit with his routine, Let's Get Physical, sung by Olivia Newton-John before the game today.
That's how you pick up a baseball body right there.
Mike Fiers picks up the baseball, getting ready to start this game, and it's an important start for him. Everyone is, but the way things have been going lately for Mike Fiers, trying to reestablish the fact that he can go deeper into games, Ash.
And Mike Fiers on the year, he's had success right here at home, 5-2, and a nice 3.34 ERA in 10 starts. The month of July hasn't been quite so kind after a nice June for Mike. 1-1 here in July, almost a 7, 6.92 on that ERA. And against the American League West, you can see it's been a rough year, so hopefully a turnaround day for Mike.
For the Los Angeles Angels, who came in with a 6-game winning streak and really rolling offensively, they've lost the first 2 of this series. Mike Scioscia goes with third baseman Yunel Escobar, right fielder Cole Calhoun, center fielder Mike Trout, DH Albert Pujols, left fielder Daniel Nava, shortstop Andrelton Simmons, first baseman Ji-Man Choi, catcher Jed Bandy, second baseman Gregorio Petit, and the pitcher will be right-hander Tim Lincecum. As Scioscia and the Angels approach this game now, they're trying to regroup. They had that great 6-0 homestand, and they lead the majors in runs scored for the month of July, but the Astros pitching has stopped them in this series, and now they have slipped to last place in the AL West, falling a half game behind Oakland. Oakland had a dramatic 9th inning comeback win last night. There's Mike Trout. He'll be batting third against Mike Fiers. And first up is Escobar. Escobar is among the top 4 in batting average in the American League at .318. High fastball puts Fiers behind 1-0. Jerry Lane is the crew chief and home plate umpire. 3 homers, 30 runs batted in for Escobar, and a .318 batting average, but .364 this month. Grounded to the left, and Carlos Correa is there to his left to take care of out number 1.
For Mike Fiers, when he falls behind, it's not easy to get the ground balls. He's got that straight riding fastball. Looked like that ball tried initially to pop out of the glove. Excuse me, of Correa.
Yeah, it hit pretty sharply. Carlos got over for the first out of the game. Now it's Cole Calhoun coming up. Calhoun, with a .285 average, has gone deep 10 times with 49 runs batted in, hitting .339 on the road. And he looks out at 3 infielders between first and second base. Fiers delivers, and there's ball 1. For Fiers, who has 6 wins and 4 losses, a 4.75 ERA. He's been better at home throughout his career. Pitched well at Minute Maid Park. A curveball could be something very important for him today. That pitch has not been there consistently. He throws it for strike 1 there. He's throwing more changeups this year than he had in the past. That one got away from him, and it's a 2-1 count for Mike. Mike, at Minute Maid Park, since joining the Astros, has made 14 starts, going 6-2 with a 2.80 ERA. That comes down and in for ball 3, and it's 3-1 with Mike Trout on deck.
Taking a look now at the MD Anderson strike zone. Let's see. Yeah, that certainly could have been called a strike. And that's a spot that Mike would love to have called a strike.
Calhoun swings, and it's 3-2.
A little extra on that heater at 90.
It's his second start against the Angels this season. He lost in Anaheim May 27th, giving up 7 earned runs in 3 2/3 innings. The Angels won that one 7-2. That is the only time the Angels have beaten the Astros this year. Houston with 10 straight wins against Los Angeles this season. Fouled away. The Astros pitchers have really been clicking through this vaunted Angel lineup, which had scored so many runs in the previous 6 games. It's been a strikeout fest for Astros pitchers in this series. That one's out of play. How about that, Ash?
Well, it's really impressive. You know what it feels like on the other side of the ledger. The Astros against Texas, 1-9 this year. The Angels have had it even worse, and the Astros outscoring them by over 2 runs a game. The pitching much better.
Ripped on a line and caught by Marwin Gonzalez. 2 outs. Ball scorched.
Sometimes when you're on the nice streaks, a little fortune on your side. And we take a look at that Super Mole presented by Mattress Firm. What does the line drive at the infielder look like? Sometimes it can look even slower than that when you're the one swinging the bat.
Mike Trout is the batter. Some of the players are wearing white shoes today. 314, 19 homers, 62 runs batted in. And Trout has a .422 on base average. Some players on both teams wearing white shoes. We're not sure what the story is on that.
Billy White Shoes Day today?
Could be. Strike 1 to Trout. With Albert Pujols, another wearing white shoes, on deck. That's ripped on a line to left field. Over into the corner for Preston Tucker. Here's Trout into second base with a 2-out double. 24th double of the year for Mike Trout.
Got the impression with that at bat, Trout swinging right away at the first strike he saw, that maybe after the last couple of days taking a little bit of the collar, that he said, I'm coming out here today, swing the bat, be aggressive, and make something happen.
That's it. First hit of the series, Ash.
Exactly, and it came off the end of the bat, but nonetheless a double. Good placement.
He's aboard for Pujols now. Albert, a .249 hitter, has 19 homers. He's tied for the club lead with Trout. He's 4th in the American League in runs batted in with 72. Taps that one foul for strike 1. Trout and Pujols struggling together in this series. And Pujols has hit .314 with 2 homers against the Astros this season. But he also, like Trout, hitless in this series until a moment ago anyway. Pujols is 0 for 8. Trout to 0 for 6. He had a walk and was hit by a pitch until a moment ago when he got that double. 1-1. That's quite an achievement for these Astros pitchers to keep Trout and Pujols to 0-fers for the first 2 games. And now you look at Pujols, 1 for 7, a homer in his career against Friars. In the air, and here's Valbuena at third. Handling out number 3. No runs, a hit, and a man left. Mike Fiers puts up the first 0 today. Hinch is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. George Springer is DHing today, leading it off though still. And he's followed by first baseman Marwin Gonzalez, second baseman Jose Altuve, shortstop Carlos Correa, third baseman Luis Valbuena, catcher Evan Gattis, right fielder Colby Rasmus, center fielder Carlos Gomez, left fielder Preston Tucker. And the Astros are 9 games over 500 for the first time this season. How about the gnome effect last night, Ash?
It certainly worked for Evan Gattis, and you can bring it back again today as far as I'm concerned. Tim Lincecum, the veteran right-hander, 32 years of age, on the mound for these LA Angels of Anaheim, 2-time Cy Young Award winner. And a big favorite of Astros fans, his last start as he beat the Texas Rangers, working just 5 innings, allowing 9 hits, 3 earnings in that one. But he also struck out 7. Has a great changeup.
George Springer is on a 5-game hitting streak. Lincecum lost that game to the Astros. He deals ball 1. That was back on June 28th. The Astros beat him 7-1. He gave up 7 hits and 5 runs in 4 1/3 innings. Springer at 260 has 21 homers to lead the club, 57 runs batted in, 3 hits and 2 walks in this series. George swings at a breaking pitch. That makes it 1-1 for Lincecum. Lincecum signed as a free agent. The Angels have been really strapped for starting pitching with a lot of injuries to their starters. Well, they've lost their first 2 starters. And that's a tough blow for any team. 2 balls and a strike. Garrett Richards and Andrew Heaney. C.J. Wilson has not been able to pitch for them this year. Nick Tropiano is hurting. 3 balls and a strike. They've had a very difficult season on the mound. The Angels' ERA against the Astros is 5.42. That's a leadoff walk for Springer. That's his 53rd walk. And we'll detail what we were starting to get into there with Wilson. The left shoulder, missing 96 games. Heaney, a left flexor. Richards, right elbow. Tropiano, right elbow. C.J. Cron, their first baseman, out with a broken left hand. Catcher Giovanni Soto, left knee. Craig Gentry, spine. They have been hit hard, Ash.
I think losing Garrett Richards, probably C.J. Wilson, those guys at the top of the rotation, almost impossible for the Angels to get by with.
Marwin Gonzalez has put together an 8-game hitting streak. Looks at ball 1. Starting the day at 253. He's delivered 8 homers. He's driven in 26 runs. Springer takes his lead there. We found out more about those white shoes from Gene Diaz, the Astros fine media relations chief. We'll pass that along. Apparently the players on both teams, some of them are wearing white shoes, and there is some connection to this being Hall of Fame induction Sunday in Cooperstown, New York. So you see George Springer wearing the white ones. Jose Altuve has white ones on. We saw Trout and Pujols.
See if George is a better base stealer in white shoes.
3-0. Well, it's only fitting in the city where Billy White Shoes Johnson is so good.
Go deep. I'll find you.
Big day in Cooperstown. Ken Griffey Jr. and Mike Piazza. That's a strike. 3-1. Well, we're told now that Nike has unveiled the special shoe today to honor Ken Griffey Jr. And so that's the connection.
Oh, there's Griffey Jr. swinging on the side there.
Nice looking shoe. He had that classic swing. Into right field. Springer had to wait for the ball to get by him. He goes to second on the single by Marwin. So both guys have extended their hitting streaks already in this game. Well, Gonzalez did. Springer got on base. So that's a 9-game streak for Marwin.
Swings always look better when a base hit comes with it. Watch this swing. Down around the knees. Head and body come down together to meet the baseball, and he stays right down through it. That's gorgeous.
Now Jose Altuve on an 8-game hitting streak himself, 17 for 32 in the last 8 games. 357 to lead the majors. 15 homers, 54 runs batted in. Leads the majors in on-base percentage as well at .426. He's 3 for 8 in this series. He has hit in 17 straight games against the Angels. Altuve with a deep drive. Altuve, 3-run homer. Number 16. 57 runs batted in, and the Astros quickly lead 3-0.
Make sure you swing it nothing but strikes. Yeah, exactly right. Let's take a look at where this fastball is on Altuve. Celebration ensues. And that's nice to jump on top early first inning. You throw a few runs on the board, still nobody out.
New career high for Altuve in homers. And it's still July. 3-0 lead, and it's Carlos Correa batting.
Colby Rasmus is asking, how do you do that?
Correa takes strike 1. He hit a homer in last night's game. So Altuve second on the club now to George Springer, who has 21 homers. Correa hit his 15th last night. Until a moment ago, he and Altuve were tied for second, along with Evan Gattis. 266, 15 homers, 63 runs batted in. Carlos leads the club in runs batted in. And the Angels know all about him to the tune of 5 homers, 19 runs batted in against them.
He has just torn them up. And back on the numbers of Altuve, the 3 ribbies give him 57. Could he find a way to 100 on the season? That could be crucial to the Astros being able to be the offensive team they need if they can get to the postseason play.
Correa works the count to 2 balls and a strike. Lincecum in his 4 career starts at Minute Maid Park is 2-0 with a 0.34 ERA. Right fielder Cole Calhoun moves in. 1 out.
Jose Altuve, did he get a strike? Maybe, right at the top of the zone. The key with him for me is when he lets it fly, and he lets it fly right here, barrels it up. I don't care if you have a perception that he's a little guy. He is very strong.
He's hitting .410 this year on high pitches.
Yeah, he handles that extremely well. So I say go ahead and free it up to Jose Altuve.
Luis Valbuena lets that one pass. There's ball 1. 254, 12 homers, 39 runs batted in. And he is 0 for 11 against Lincecum. Now 1-1 to Luis in that number 5 spot in the lineup. Lincecum in his career against the Astros, 5-1 with a 1.60 ERA. Altuve's homer was measured at 421 feet. 1-2.
There's that vaunted changeup of Tim Lincecum. He had that pitch all through the career, but he also had a lot more on the heater than he now has. And the 2 pitches along with the curveball served him very well.
He signed his Angels contract May 20th. That's a deep drive to right field. Valbuena is skipping, and that's a home run. 4-0 Astros. He went into that home run skip. Home run number 13 for Valbuena.
The guys that hit him know when they get him. And right there, Valbuena knew immediately. That's a rough first inning start to the ball game for Tim Lincecum.
That's 40 runs batted in for Valbuena. And Evan Gattis will try to continue the carnage here. He looks at strike one. He hit 2 homers last night, giving him 15 homers. He's driven in 40 with a .224 batting average, hitting .313 against the Halos. That was a 418-footer for Valbuena. It's 1-1. Gattis apparently has homered in all 3 giveaway Gattis games in the big leagues. There was a bobblehead last year, and he went deep on that day. So the Nome giveaway last night, bringing 2 home runs to Evan Gattis.
What is the nomenclature you use on his home runs?
And it continues. He gets underneath this one. Second baseman Petit, 2 outs.
You can usually tell when Luis Valbuena gets it off speed, and that bat is not long for his hands. Skip it. Yep. Can't blame a guy for knowing when he gets one.
Ricocheted off a seat in the upper deck. Colby Rasmus is trying to find that kind of success. He's 0 for his last 25, hitless in his last 6 games. The shift is on. That puts Andrelton Simmons there for out number 3. And the Astros get a 4-run first. Altuve provides 3 with hit number 137 of this season. And then Valbuena goes deep. 4-0 Houston. As you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller time later in today's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. More Backstreet Boys from Altuve. No, it's just a ruse to steal Marisnick's cap.
How many caps has Jake gone through this year?
About 400.
Altuve, for that matter.
Daniel Nava leads it off. Plenty of early run support for Mike Fiers. He throws ball 1 to Nava. Nava's at .231. He has 1 homer, 12 runs batted in, 4 for 20 against the Astros this season. That evens the count, and Simmons is on deck. It's 1-1 for Mike Fiers.
I wonder if Marisnick puts in his cap, "If found, please call."
Might not be a good idea for him to leave that phone number out there. I think a lot of people would be all over that. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
He's already got a new lid. He apparently just keeps a load of them nearby.
He has an endless supply.
He is the most interesting man in the world, after all.
We often see him wearing a football helmet on the baseball field before the game. And Altuve, to our knowledge, has not attempted to steal that. Let's see if he gets some revenge here.
Oh, right up the nose. Make you fearful of coming back to the dugout.
Valentino to the OR, please. Dr. Valentino to the OR, please.
At the Astros version of waterboarding.
That would be it.
4-0 game as Nava settles back in. Colin McHugh pitched extremely well last night, enjoying a moment. He got his 7th win last night. Fires is shooting for number 7 today. And it's upstairs. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I guess when you stop having fun when you're winning, it's time to get out of the game.
Yeah. I wonder if Chris Sale's having much fun today.
That didn't work so well for him yesterday.
5-game suspension. Ground ball up the middle. Backhanded Correa, and then he throws over. 1 out.
Yeah, that shift has Correa on the first base side of second, so he has to move to his right. It's kind of like being in the hole at shortstop, and we've seen him throwing very well recently.
Andrelton Simmons has really looked good at the plate in this series, going 4 for 8, driving in 2 runs, 279, 1 homer, 21 runs batted in, 391 his last 25. Taking ball 1. Showing butt. Simmons looks at that one. It's called a strike. 1-1 with Choi on deck. Texas nothing, Kansas City nothing after 1 in Kansas City. Sharply hit into right field. Simmons collects hit number 5 of the series.
Doesn't even look like the same guy with a bat in his hand that we saw early in the year.
Nope. What's he done, Ash?
The numbers, all I can tell you is they have been skying upward. But there's a very nice stroke on a pitch, up a little bit, out over the plate, very Mike Fiers-like, but kind of down through the baseball. Just really keeping the head on it.
Ji-Man Choi is the batter. Choi with 2 homers, hit number 2 of the season last night. He's 1 for 8 against the Astros. He looks at strike 1. The Angels, we mentioned, have really set a nice path offensively. They've averaged 6.3 runs per game in July. They lead the majors with 113 runs in 18 games. And yet against the Astros, they have struck out 11 times in game 1, 13 times in game 2 of this series. First time they've been struck out 10 times or more in 2 consecutive games this year. And they've scored a total of 3 runs. Fly ball near the left field line. Preston Tucker is over into foul territory, and reaching back, he failed to make the catch.
I hate to see that happen. You can, as a left fielder, as a corner outfielder, you can get so focused on the wall and the fans reaching out that you forget about getting in the right spot for the baseball. And Preston needed to step back. Yeah, working on that wall just didn't come together. Brownie, you are being heard in Brazil, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How's that happening?
Yeah, a fellow wants to know if we believe Altuve can surpass Biggio in Astros history.
Well, not only that, but we predict that he will win a gold medal at the Olympics coming up there. So
how long is he going to be gone from the club?
He'll be missing about 3 weeks. That was ruled an error, by the way, on Tucker. Well, we're honored to be seen in Brazil.
No, Altuve will not be at the Olympics. He has other commitments. We'll check in and see what those are. But
and we're not going to blame it on Rio, but nonetheless, these white shoes he's wearing today, these what are they, Griffey Air Max?
Yes.
You know, someday somebody might be wearing white shoes for him.
In honor of Jose Altuve. Yeah. Look, he's off to a great start, Altuve, and the numbers are just phenomenal to this point. Can he make it happen? Time will tell. Can he stay healthy and maintain this level of play?
Choi puts one in the air. Here's Carlos Gomez backing in center field. And the runner tagging, and now the throw trickles in, and he will be out at second base. He didn't make it there. Altuve tagged out Simmons. And they're going to challenge it, possibly. We'll see.
The hand got in there initially. Did it come off the base? I guess that would be the question, but
Gomez may get his 7th outfield assist, but this could come under review. We're waiting to see now if the Angels choose to challenge it.
you know, the bowling portion of that throw wound up right there at the bag.
That was about a 34 hopper, right? And they're not going to challenge it. So that stands as a Gomez outfield assist to Altuve from 7-4. No runs, a hit, an error, and the Astros lead it 4-0.
Brings us our league leaders. Ken Griffey Jr., we talked about the Hall of Fame. He's going in today, deservedly so. A few knuckleheads chose not to vote for Ken Griffey Jr. Highest percentage ever of votes received for the Hall of Fame. Ken Griffey Jr. at the top of the heap. You see Tom Seaver and Nolan Ryan, Cal Ripken Jr. How could those guys not get the votes needed on that entire list? I mean, really, but Jr. sits at the top of the heap.
Quite a day. Cooperstown. Tim Lincecum versus Carlos Gomez. There is ball one. Gomez got that outfield assist, making that an 8-4 double play. 207, 5 homers, 27 runs batted in. He's hit .296 against the Halos. Grounds this one foul. 1-1 against Tim Lincecum, the 10th different starting pitcher used by the Angels this season. He has 110 major league wins. The Astros lead in outfield assists now in the majors with 31. 7 for Gomez, 10 for Colby Rasmus, 10 for George Springer. It's 2 balls and a strike. Lincecum has won 110. He's lost 86 in his career with a 3.66 ERA. 32 years old now. A 4-time All-Star. He won back-to-back National League Cy Young Awards for the Giants in 08 and 09. He's thrown 2 no-hitters, and he's led the National League in strikeouts 3 times. And for a strike to Gomez, that makes it a full count.
A lot of people refer to veterans as having the edge. The edge is when you have your great stuff. Tim Lincecum no longer has that.
Ball 4 to Gomez. 2 leadoff walks in 2 innings for Lincecum. Lincecum, coming into this game, had the third lowest career ERA against the Astros of those who have pitched at least 60 innings. 1.62. Mike Scioscia hoping for better, but there's still a lot of baseball to be played today. The Astros hope to keep it churning with Preston Tucker batting. Tucker, a 178 hitter, has 3 homers, 6 runs batted in. He's contributed in both games of this series after hitting .301 for AAA Fresno. 1 for 5 with an RBI in this series. Getting a chance to do some DHing the first couple of games and now play left field. Actually, right-handed hitters have done more damage this season against Lincecum, but lefties are hitting .319 against him. Right-handers .436. Foul back by Tucker. The Astros, since they fell 11 games behind the Rangers June 17th for the first time, they've gone 21-8. A.J. Hinch likes his club. He was asked about trades that the Astros might make today before the game. He was non-committal about that. Tucker with the fly ball to left. Nava comes over, and that one will be in for a hit and bounce out of play for a double. 7th double for Tucker.
Well, when you start looking at reasons the club is in last place, there are probably plenty of reasons. Tucker realizes that's a very fortunate double, but that kind of defense is just not strong enough to help a pitching staff, help a team ultimately win. And Nava gave it all he had. He just didn't have enough.
Simmons couldn't get there. Now runners at second and third. Nobody out for George Springer. George walked and scored in the first inning. That was the 70th run he has scored this season. Altuve scored 74 to lead the club. Infield comes in. And Springer is among the top RBI men for leadoff guys.
Yeah, we take a look at how he does drive in the runs. We know he's got the power. That on the recent road trip, rather, he'll drive him off the board. George Springer has been driving balls the other way rather routinely lately, and he's another guy that could, maybe should be factored in as a guy to drive in 100.
57 runs batted in right now. The bottom of the order has been much more productive, getting on base for Springer, and then he's been delivering those runs. So he's been among the best recently since May 25th in runs batted in as a leadoff man. He has 32 behind only Adam Jones and Ian Kinsler.
Adam Jones didn't get off too much of a start this year for the O's, and they were still winning, but he's starting to perform.
Ground ball on through. That'll be 2 more runs batted in for Springer. A 6-0 lead for the Astros. Simmons lost his glove. Springer has a 6-game hitting streak now. That's 59 runs batted in for George.
Pile on when the opportunities arise. One of the great sets of numbers for this team could be 3 guys driving in 100+. The guys at the top of this order are starting to separate themselves from others around the league. Andrelton Simmons was not throwing the glove at the baseball, but just losing control. I didn't catch the music live there, but
6 runs on 5 hits for the Astros. Marwin Gonzalez takes. There's ball 1. He got the first hit of the game for Houston. Sharp single to right field in the first inning. The Astros are trying to run away with this one early. And they're trying to get to 10 games above 500 for the first time this season. Foul ball, and this will be back in the seats. 1 ball, 1 strike. The schedule gets fairly difficult for the Astros. Starting tomorrow night with the Yankees coming in to open a 3-game series. Then the Astros will go to Detroit. And on the next homestand, they'll play Toronto and Texas. So all those teams are in contention right now for the playoffs. High to right field. Calhoun. 1 out.
Through the first 765 games of their careers, we were talking about Altuve versus Biggio, and Biggio, a Hall of Famer, deservedly so, one of the greats. But Altuve has the large edge at that stage of their careers. And again, it comes down to maintaining that type of play.
So our friend in Brazil is updated on Altuve's chances to be in Cooperstown someday. Altuve hit a 3-run blast in the first inning. He started the day hitting .477 this year against the Angels. Goes down on a knee on that foul ball for strike 1.
That swing, part of what we were talking about Altuve coming out there and getting the good swings consistently. He was letting it fly on that curveball.
Altuve is now 22 for 45 against the Angels.
He again, as recently as yesterday, hitting .500 on the season, but he is just, he's torn up the Angels, as has Carlos Correa.
Inside, 1-1 for Lincecum. The Astros have hit .297 against the Angels in their 11 games. They've scored 60 runs in those 11 games, much more robust numbers than they have in their average game this season. In the dirt, 2-1. They have swept 7 series this season. Trying to get a sweep of this 3-game set. They have 5 3-game series sweep. And they're trying to make it a 6-0 record here at Minute Maid Park against the Angels this season. They will have 2 more series remaining with the Angels after this one. In for a strike, and it's 2-2.
Yeah, there was a hanger to be able to handle. Was it in the strike zone? Only our strike zone box from MD Anderson will tell you.
There's a shot. That's blasted to left field by Altuve. And he's hit another one. A 2-run homer for Altuve. A bullet to left. 5 runs batted in for Jose Altuve today. And it's the 2nd inning. 8-0 Houston.
Might have hit another ball in the process driving this out. Looked like the changeup down and in. When he's feeling it, just give him a pitch he can get the bat to, and he'll get it there squarely. Beware all flying water in the dugout.
Boy, Charles Nagy out to the mound, the pitching coach. That looked like it was blasted out of a howitzer. Jumped out very quickly to left field. 2nd career multi-home run game for Altuve.
See where this pitch winds up. Yeah, kind of in that down and in area, but again, when he's feeling it and letting it fly, results are going to be definitely on the Astros side. And placement wasn't bad either.
It just made it, skipping into the stands off the top of that yellow line. And of course, it would not have been a home run had it not gone above that yellow line and touched something there above it. Otherwise, it would have come back on the field and it would have been in play. It just barely made it. Didn't see if it touched somebody's hands or a seat or what it was that caused it to ricochet back onto the field.
Looks like we're in a tennis match with that little mark on the top of the wall there.
Yeah. It must clear the yellow line. Carlos Correa looks at ball 1. Let's check out the carom shot here.
Here's what I thought. The guy in the white shirt gets nailed, and that's what brings the ball back onto the field of play.
That was a body shot. 2-0 to Correa. 364-footer for Altuve.
Do not interfere with balls in play, but that ball was not in play at that point.
No, it was not. You are allowed to use your hands, by the way, on home run balls.
A little soccer broke out there in the stands and left.
Deolis Guerra is warming up. 2 balls and a strike.
Man.
And now it's 3-1 to Correa with Valbuena on deck.
Yeah, I say of Tim Lincecum, he has not shown 1 ounce of emotion. He is just sticking to his business.
That's blasted out to center field. Trout way back. That one kicks off the wall, stays in play. Another extra base hit. A Correa double, his 22nd of the year, and the Astros are taking their rips.
I was actually going to say in the inning when Marwin Gonzalez flied to right field, he just got under one. He had a great swing as well. This is a series of tremendous swings now by the Astros. Look at the vicious finish to that swing. Bam, through the ball.
Wow. The Astros just lit it up. KOing Lincecum here in the 2nd inning. They have 7 hits and 5 are for extra bases. They lead it 8-0. We'll be right back.
Coca-Cola Astros Buddies memberships are on sale now for only $25. Buddies members get a voucher for 4 tickets to an Astros game, VIP access to Kids Run the Bases, exclusive autograph sessions, and more. Memberships for kids up to 12 years old are available by visiting astros.com/buddies. With this 8-0 lead, the Astros look to win their 11th straight over this Angels team. They've been playing really well here lately, especially dominating the guys in red. And I've asked a couple of guys in the clubhouse. It's only fair. We asked these guys about their struggles against the Texas Rangers, not being able to beat them. How about their dominance over another team? What's it like to be on that side of it? And guys saying you can't really look at it that way, but sure, it does give you a lot of confidence when you know you can beat these guys and you know you can handle that lineup, especially for these pitchers who have done so well getting that middle of the order out, the Trouts and the Pujols. They're all feeling really good about the way that they're playing, but exceptionally well about the way that they play against somebody in their division.
Deolis Guerra takes over in 4 innings against the Astros. His ERA is 0, covering 3 games. He faces Valbuena, who homered first time up. And it's ball 1. Correa the runner at second base, 1 out, 8-0 Astros here in the 2nd inning. Guerra's from Venezuela. He pitched 10 times for the Pirates last year. Then he was a Rule 5 pick by the Angels in December. He brings that one in, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike.
Already seen 2 changeups from Guerra. That's a featured pitch of his. Fastball averages just about 90 miles an hour.
He's had a couple of different stints with the big league club, shuttling between there and Salt Lake this year. Valbuena to left. Daniel Nava on the warning track. 2 outs. And Evan Gattis will come up. Evan was in the lineup originally as the designated hitter last night, and then Jason Castro's right hand was bothering him, having been hit with a foul ball. So Castro was pulled from the lineup. Gattis was then moved to catcher. And before the game today, he was listed as the starting catcher. A.J. Hinch not checking with Castro. He just wanted to give Jason another day to rest that hand. And why not, the way Evan played last night? Gattis taking ball 1.
And that's not just with the bat. He played well behind the plate, threw out a would-be base thief. Perfect throw, and getting the job done.
Excellent point. Had a hard time figuring out why he hits so much better when he's catching than when he's DHing. The numbers are staggeringly better. Foul back, 1-1.
That's an interesting question for a lot of guys. Some guys are built to be a DH. See David Ortiz, but even Jose Altuve, on the days when he's been rested and had a chance to be a DH, he'll tell you that's not his favorite thing.
Yeah, he was just talking about that yesterday before the game. Maybe too much time to think about the next at bat. AJ said essentially that's 4 pinch hit at bats when a guy's DHing, has 4 plate appearances. So maybe AJ thinks that catching sort of frees up the mind of Evan Gattis not to dwell on those at bats, because he is so focused on calling the game he can't really worry too much about his next at bat.
I think that's probably dead on. I really believe in this game that overthinking can freeze guys up. It's the paralysis by analysis theory.
What makes it really, I think, perplexing to a lot of people is, well, we talk about the rigors of catching all the time, and about how and Evan's not an everyday catcher, but guys who do catch every day, typically their offense suffers. Certainly Yadier Molina and others offer counter arguments to that, but it's typical that a catcher will wear down, will not be as good offensively, especially when you get past the midway point of a season. Struck him out looking, and in the second the Astros get another 4 spot. What a start for Jose Altuve. 3-run homer in the first, and then a 2-run shot in the second inning. Already 2 homers, 5 runs batted in after 2 innings, 8-0.
Astros over the Angels, top of the 3rd. It's time to take a look at our Chevy Stroll poll. Make sure you get on Twitter. Head over to the Root Sports SW Twitter page to vote. Which throwback unis are your favorite? Yeah, you know why we're asking this question. The 70s, 80s Padres or 70s, 80s Pirates? Oh, that's a good look. How about the Mariners? Or
You would have to bring this up.
we have to. Or the White Sox. Please vote. We'll tell you who wins later.
Mike fires. Throw strike one. 8-0 lead. Jet Bandy, the catcher, with a .274 batting average, has 3 homers, 14 runs batted in. They'll be followed by Petit and Escobar in the Angel third inning. And it's 1-1. Well, a little bit more in case you have not been tapped into the White Sox situation today. The White Sox have suspended pitcher Chris Sale for 5 games for his actions yesterday.
Go home, get your throwing in, do plenty of wind sprints. We'll see you in 5.
1-2. Sale could have been the first 15-game winner had he pitched and won last night, but White Sox had a very unfortunate day on a lot of different counts, one being that their game wound up being suspended by rain in the 8th inning with Detroit.
Yeah, at least these days they pick that game up at this point. In days gone by, you'd start the game all over again. I don't know how many years you have to go back, maybe 8 or 10. I'm not sure how far that goes back, but thank goodness.
That's true. Now they'll just resume it from that point. That's lined into center field. Jet Bandy has hit number 3 for the Angels. When you were catching in situations like this, starting pitcher has all this run support. What would your emphasis be? Because he doesn't want to get too lax here and throw too many hittable strikes.
I played in a day when it was more part of the game to say challenge somebody. In other words, throw more fastballs, get ahead, stay there when you have a big lead. And then hitters start teeing off. I never believed in it. And when afforded the opportunity, and I wasn't always, I wanted to pitch like it was a 1-1 ball game. I felt like it was the best way for my pitcher to have a chance to be his best.
Correa, difficult play, and he lost possession of it. That's an infield hit for Petit. Had to move several steps to his right and then reach down, and then the ball popped away from him.
Yeah, we've seen Correa making this type play and consistently, but that little in-between hop, I think, sets up the poor exchange to the right hand. Carlos has all the tools to make every play, and it's rare when we see him not come up with one.
Ruled a single for Petit. Runners at first and second for Yunel Escobar. He grounded to short. That's lined into left center field. Bandy around third, coming to a stop as the throw comes in from Gomez, and the bases are loaded.
Our Lexus defensive ratings, Brownie was talking about the outfield assists for the Astros. They can all throw. Carlos Gomez in center is not red just because of the consistency of location of the throws. Colby Rasmus can definitely throw with accuracy. Preston Tucker, a little bit less known of a commodity, but not the kind of arm that the others have in the outfield. We know all about these guys, and they can really get it done. There's Preston on that left field side. Most left fielders kind of fall into that category that Preston's in.
Cole Calhoun ripped a line drive. It was caught by Marwin Gonzalez, his first time up. That ball goes back toward the seats. Strike one to Calhoun. Now, so Chris Sale will sit out, as we mentioned, the next 5 games. Apparently he did some damage to the White Sox throwback uniforms during batting practice prior to last night's game and was sent home.
But not to their image.
No, not at all. Those uniform shorts remain untarnished. Fly ball out to left field. Tucker gives way to Gomez, who called him off it. And the throw goes in toward third. Sacrifice fly, 8-1. Calhoun gets his 50th run batted in.
Yeah, I mean, thinks Carlos Gomez is feeling his oats out there today. He wanted that throw.
Yep.
I don't think that was going to matter either way. The Angels weren't coming to third base. Yeah. I'll take it. You get out of the way.
Well, but didn't he create a tougher throwing angle for himself than Tucker would have had?
I think it was equal, with Tucker being left-handed, easy, with Gomez being right-handed, assuming he can stop and throw. And that's a little bit of a large assumption because he had a long run.
Mike Trout doubled to left earlier. Trout puts this in the air. Altuve is calling. Infield fly. 2 outs.
Check out that previous play. Let's see if Carlos really was in a position where he could throw as quickly. You can see Preston Tucker was set up. It took a number of little steps there for Carlos Gomez, but again, I think he's feeling it today. I think he's cut loose some throws and feels like maybe there are some more assists to be had here this afternoon.
Albert Pujols popped to third his first time up. I mentioned Pujols had been hitless in the series, so he's now 0 for 9. Not to make a big deal out of that because it's only the third inning, but just wondering, has there ever been a 3-game series when Albert Pujols has not had a hit against the Astros or even reached base?
There were days when he wore the Cardinal red that you'd ask, has there ever been half a game that he has been held with nothing?
Yeah. 2-0. Just as Altuve is feasting on Angel pitching, Pujols has done that his entire career against Astros pitching.
Ken Griffey Jr. on a lot of minds here today.
There was a shot of some of his former teammates at Cooperstown headed for the induction ceremonies earlier this morning. They were all wearing their caps backwards. Tribute. 292, 52 homers, 141 runs batted in 236 games. And a lot of late inning damage. Albert hits this one to left center field. Gomez coming for it to keep him hitless. 1 run, 3 hits, 2 men left. The Astros lead it 8-1 in the third. Nolan Ryan. 169 complete games, Ash. 3.16 ERA.
I had the privilege of playing with Mr. Ryan for a long, long time, and he left everybody in awe, including his teammates. He could go out there more times than anybody else I've ever seen and leave you with the impression that tonight was the night he was going to come up with another no-no. And nobody's come close to his 7 career no-hitters. I don't think anybody ever will.
Colby Rasmus leads it off in the third, 8-1 Astros. You're right about that. There's ball 1. Just the complete games, the mentality he had that it was his ball game to finish when he went to the mound. It's 2-0 to Colby. It's been a few years since Colby has gone hitless for 6 games in a row. 2014, the last time that's happened for him. Now it's a 3-ball no strike count for Deolis Guerra in relief of Tim Lincecum. Lincecum went 1 1/3 innings. He allowed 7 hits, 8 earned runs, walking 2, no strikeouts through 50 pitches. 26 of them were strikes. Rasmus looks at it. It's a strike. 3-1 to Colby. Lincecum's ERA is now 8.70. This is his 7th start of the year with the Angels. Colby draws the leadoff walk. There have been 3 leadoff walks for the Astros in the first 3 innings.
Lowest drafted Hall of Famers. You don't even think in that direction, but Mike Piazza, it was just really a courtesy pick for his, what was it, Uncle Tommy Lasorda?
Yeah, Godfather.
Godfather, that's what it was. John Smoltz. That very much surprises me. Ryan Sandberg as well. Nolan Ryan. And how could Andre Dawson not be a first rounder or a #1 overall?
Not sure.
Really hard to believe.
Carlos Gomez walked and scored in the 2nd. Yeah, such a talent. Fouled away. There's strike 1. What a day for the Mariners. And Barry Larkin sitting right behind Griffey as they both played with the Reds.
Guys who both grew up in the Cincinnati area, right?
Yes.
Along with Buddy Bell. Number of guys.
Well, there have been, Pete Rose, have been so many great players who came from that area. Don Zimmer, Jim Fry.
Billy Doran, right?
Yep, Billy Doran. I remember when Ken Griffey was playing for the Reds, going out to his house one time in North College Hill to do an interview with him. And his 2 sons were playing catch in the backyard. And Junior was 10 years old at that time.
I hope he didn't flip his hat around at that time.
No, I don't think he did. That came later. Line to left field. Gomez heads for second base. Rasmus for third. He's going to be sent home by Gary Pettis. Relay from Simmons, not in time. RBI double for Gomez. 9-1 Houston.
You know, we talk about some of the really good base runners on this Astros club and sometimes forget about Colby Rasmus. But he can go with those long strides and turn the bag well. You want to send a guy when you think it might be a close play. Not a bad choice with Colby Rasmus. And Carlos Gomez comes up with a big swing for the club.
'28th run batted in for Gomez. Rasmus coming in. And Preston Tucker will follow. He doubled to left in the 2nd inning. 8 hits for the Astros. At strike 1 to Tucker. Well, everybody's been on base except Evan Gattis already in this game for Houston. And only Gattis and Rasmus have not reached the hit column in this early stage of the game.
Come on, guys, give out a couple Gattis gnomes today.
No balls, 2 strikes.
That's Colby Rasmus coming around on the Gomez double. If you're Gary Pettis right there, yeah, go ahead and send him. And he didn't quite hit the inside corner of the bag, but nonetheless never broke stride. Those long strides pick up ground.
You saw the way Pettis positioned himself to look into that corner. Foul back by Tucker.
Good swing, too. Didn't wing that thing. That front elbow didn't come up on him at all. Just when he's swinging it right, that bat comes directly to the ball.
Well, the White Sox got some good news today, Ash. They won a game from Detroit in the bottom of the 9th inning as they picked up where that game had been suspended in the 8th last night. They won it 4-3 with a run in the last of the 9th. They needed some good news today. Still 0-2 after the way things have been going. They've been in a slump. They're 47-50 now. And the happenings of yesterday. So many people now have them as sellers in the buyer-seller market, which should be churning up a little bit more this week.
Well, you would certainly think the Angels would be sellers.
Yeah.
Everybody would love to have Mike Trout. You're not likely to pay the price there.
What would that price be?
Ooh,
half the franchise?
A couple of franchises and their minor league systems.
That one bounced and hit him. And so Tucker will reach first, hit by the pitch.
Looking now at our forward spray chart. Our feature is on George Springer and what he's been doing lately with over the last 5 games, singles, doubles, home runs. You see him all over. And you know, and we talked about it earlier. George has been driving the ball to right field. That Oakland series left witness to that, as did the Seattle series. But he can drive it the other way. He got a pitch to handle in the 2nd inning and just didn't drive the baseball, but put it back up the middle. You put it in play with men in scoring position, you got a chance to pick up some ribs.
2 ducks on the pond right now for George. Simmons on to second, and then the relay to first. A good one by Petit for a 6-4-3 double play.
You're right about that turn portion of the double play. Petit at second base. Kind of a little bit of a Robinson Cano without the kind of submarine throw, but just coming across the bag and made it look rather routine. Yeah, very nice. Actually, Simmons could have gotten eaten up on that hop in between.
They sure could have. Runner at third now, 2 outs for Marwin Gonzalez. He's 1 for 2. In the dirt, ball 1. The Astros and Yankees hook up tomorrow night at 7:10. Dallas Keuchel versus Michael Pineda. Tuesday night at 7:10. It's Doug Fister and CC Sabathia. Wednesday at 7:10. Lance McCullers gets the call against Masahiro Tanaka. Thursday's a day off for travel to Detroit. The Astros and Tigers will meet in Motown in a 3-game road trip and then right back here. Bounced wide of first base, and just checking that upcoming schedule, we talked about it a little bit earlier and some last night, Ash, but it is a challenging set coming up because the Astros will play contenders, New York, Detroit, Toronto, Texas, in the next 4 series. Then they go to Minnesota for 4. They go to Toronto, come back here with St. Louis. Only 2 games in that homestand, St. Louis. Then back out on the road to Baltimore, Pittsburgh. So a lot of contenders are on that schedule here in the next month or so.
Well, that's a series of games that goes quite deep from where you're talking about, where I don't know that you worry about proving anything to the experts. You prove to yourselves. We beat the good teams.
Well, the Astros are 3.5 games away from the best record in the American League right now. That's how things have changed a little bit with some of the top teams coming back to the pack in recent weeks.
Okay, so 2 months ago you tell me that, and I'm going to have you checked in.
I'm already in, pal.
Well, I'm glad they let you out.
They just let me out for the weekends. I got a weekend pass. You're allowed visiting privileges, by the way.
I've tried, but they had a white coat in their hands, and I wasn't going near.
Yeah. Altuve's wearing a white shoe combination. We're wearing the white coats. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Well, currently the Rangers have a 56-42 record. That's a .571 winning percentage, a far cry from where they were 3 weeks ago. Cleveland's down to .583 now, as is Baltimore. That's the best in the American League, so nobody close to .600. And it's gotten closer, and so a lot of teams are still in that picture as we close in on the end of July. Gonzalez is a strikeout victim, and the Astros get a run on 1 hit. They leave a man after 3. Colby Rasmus scored the most recent tally to make it 9-1.
Tickets today by visiting Astros.com or calling 1-877-9-ASTROS. Mike Fiers getting back to work with a 9-1 lead, so should be able to throw strikes if he can just be aggressive. That's going to go into what his game plan was today anyway against the Angels. First pitch strikes are so key for Fiers, especially coming off the 2 starts that he just had where he couldn't get through the 4th inning. Really disappointing for him. Hated that he struggled. We saw the emotions from him last time he was on the mound, guys, and a lot of that had to do with the fact that it was his 2nd straight start where he was hurting his team by having to go to the bullpen early in the game. He wanted to find his way out of it, lost his cool a little bit, said that, you know, that's something he's going to have to work on. But as a team, they kind of came together that night too, and Fiers is hoping to come back even stronger and show these guys that he belongs in this rotation.
Well, the players downplayed it, of course. A.J. Hinch too after that game, and actually it's not that big a deal. A lot of that kind of thing happens out of camera range in the clubhouse. It's just considered to be a family, brothers. Cam Bedrosian, we'll check and see who's warming up. There's a line drive, and it's caught by Rasmus in right field. That is Nava, retired for out number 1. It is Salas, Fernando Salas, warming up, not Bedrosian. And Simmons will be the batter. Simmons single to right field. But back to that little dust up. It's easily passed over because it happens a lot. We just don't see a lot of these things that occur in the clubhouse. It's very quickly passed over, and as Julia indicated, sometimes it can actually be a positive for a team. Go ahead and get that emotion out there. Everybody's focused on the same purpose, maybe not exactly how to get there, and sometimes things get out of whack. Players express themselves, they regret it, but those apologies are quickly accepted, and it's not all that tough to move on from something like that.
It was part of the standard daily ritual for the Oakland A's back in the 80s when they had the great teams.
That's for sure.
Yeah, when you're losing, that stuff doesn't get tolerated. When you're winning, you find a way.
Yeah, that's well said. Such a difference. 1-2. A.J. Hinch is not going to bury Mike Fiers because of what he said on the mound that night or in the dugout. It's all about what he's doing out here. on the mound from this point on.
Yeah, I think what gets most misunderstood about managers in today's world, it's so different than years gone by where, you know, it was you do it my way or the highway kind of attitude. It's about managing guys to get the most out of them over the course of the season.
Sure. Off-speed pitch, and he checked his swing on appeal to Scott Berry. Julia, do you have something for us?
I did want to ask Ash something. You know, we know these guys are so competitive and they want to be starting pitchers. They want to stay in the rotation. But what about this time of year, especially with all the rumors flying around about starting pitching? Does that have any effect on some of these guys?
Correa backhanding, and he won't try a throw. That's an infield hit for Simmons.
Yeah, it's a great question, Julia. And yes is my answer. I mean, we all let things get in our head. People might say that they have a thick skin, but I think everybody is a little bit thinner on the skin than they might acknowledge. And it's hard to hear things that might impact you in the long run. So if Mike Fiers is hearing that the Astros are looking for somebody, he can look around the rotation and say, well, who's the most likely guy to be slotted out of the rotation? Maybe it's me. And yeah, it'll wear on you.
Ji-Man Choi hit a fly ball to center. That turned into an 8-4 double play. And there's strike one to Choi. Simmons tried to tag and get to second on it and was thrown out. Well, just looking at the way the Astros 5-man rotation is performing, of course, that would be the case. Many people would point to Mike Fiers as the guy who's not doing as well as the other four. That's at this present time. Things, of course, are always in a state of flux to some degree.
Here's part of the deal from me, Bronny, is it could be Mike Fiers on that final day of the season that wins a game that must be won to get into the postseason play.
Right. He fields the bunt and throws to get Choi. Simmons to second, 2 outs.
You never know who. Well, you know that everybody is going to have a chance if you provide that chance for them to come up with something big for the club, and you'll get surprised many times as to who that somebody might be.
Now Jed Bandy, who singled to center and scored in the 3rd inning, will come up for the 2nd time. The Astros, in the last 8 starts Mike Fiers has made, are 6-2. And during that time, he is 3-1 with a 4.14 ERA. You can find far worse number 5 guys, so to speak, in terms of recent performance and rotations right now in the big leagues.
Tim Lincecum just ran out there for the Angels today and had a rough day.
He sure did. There's strike one to Bandy.
You hit that hill, you better have your stuff or you're going to get torn up.
Well, Fiers pitched 6 shutout innings here against the White Sox July 1st. Pitched 5 2/3 shutout innings here against Cincinnati June 19th.
I love that view we just had from the third base side looking at mound and home plate area. When I was a youngster, there was something magical about that distance.
Yeah.
How does that work out?
Tucker in left. Works out well on that pitch for Mike Fiers. It's no runs, a hit, and a man left. Astros lead it 8-1.
Telecast is presented by authority of Houston Astros, LLC, and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Houston Astros, LLC.
When we look back, it's the 47th anniversary of the landing of Apollo 11, 1969, back on Earth after that historic moon mission. Well, we've been getting various shots throughout the game, and we know a lot of folks visit NASA and have a wonderful educational time with the kids and visitors from out of town. Salute our friends at NASA down the road.
So, Bronny, you tell me which was the larger event that year, the moon landing or the Mets winning the World Series?
I'd say they probably ranked on an equal level, right? Both pretty unexpected. No, we knew the moon landing would go okay, but the Mets shocked the world. Fernando Salas comes in. Guerra in 1 2/3 innings, allowing 1 hit, 1 run. The score is 9-1. I mentioned 8-1, but the Astros got that third inning run to make it 9-1. Salas 3 and 6 with a 5.10 ERA. And Jose Altuve has 2 homers and 5 runs batted in his first 2 at bats. Moves back there, 1-1. What a great historic time though with Neil Armstrong, and the first word he mentioned after setting foot on the moon was Houston.
You could see everything from the moon. I wonder if he saw what was going to happen this year with the Astros.
Yes, he saw a World Series, Ash. In the air, and the second baseman goes back for it, Petit. 1 out.
Academy Sports and Outdoors and the Houston Astros are hitting home runs for Houston. Shortstop, we mentioned it yesterday. While playing shortstop, 36 home runs for Carlos Correa. He went oppo last night for number 36. He's gone by Adam Everett, the home run hitting shortstop of the past. He's hit 5 against the Angels this year, won a 13th inning pinch hit home run to win a game. Mike Scioscia has seen more than he wants to see from Carlos Correa, but I think he's going to see some more. It's the oppo job, and he is the reigning king.
Correa 1 for 2, a double in this game. Deolis Guerra in 1 2/3 innings, allowing 1 hit, 1 run. He had 1 walk, hit a man, and struck out 2. Ball 1 to Correa. Yankees 5, Giants nothing. They're in the top of the 7th in New York. Yankees will be heading for Houston after that game. They're trying to go 2 games over 500. And the Astros with their second series with New York coming up starting tomorrow night. Open the season there, as you'll recall. Lost 2 of 3. Yankees a very interesting bunch to follow right now. Nate Eovaldi started today, and he went 6 2/3 innings pitching shutout ball. Carlos Beltran hit his 21st homer. Mark Teixeira, number 9. In for a strike. Texas really struggled this year. He's had his injuries, and he's hitting 188.
Heard some Nate Eovaldi talk about a week or 2 ago, possible trade type stuff, but
yeah,
don't know if he's being discussed a whole lot.
They want it upstairs, but it's hammered into left field. Correa ripped that 1-2 pitch. Here's Nava, and here's Correa into second with a double. His second of the game, 23rd of the season.
Well, he's getting that batting average up 270-ish right now and moving in the right direction. Extra bases are coming along, driving in the runs. You know, when it's all said and done, even though I would say Carlos Correa's had a slow start to the year, his numbers might look just about as nice as you wanted. No question, he was looking 2 all the way.
Yeah, he needed all that hustle. Barely beat the throw. That's 9 hits for the Astros. They've hit 3 homers and 4 doubles. Luis Valbuena had one of those home runs in the 4-run first. He hit a warning track fly ball in the second. And that's strike one. The Yankees have Gardner leading off in left field today. Ellsbury batting second and center. And then Carlos Beltran is DHing, batting third. The Astros lineup is one that some people think they might not have seen before. Rasmus in right field hitting seventh. Gomez in center hitting eighth. Tucker in left hitting ninth. Can you remember all three outfielders hitting in the last three spots in the lineup?
Generally, when you're talking outfielders, you're talking heart of the order guys. So, boy, that would take some research.
Yeah, it would.
Talk about a little research. Correa with a couple of doubles today has 38 total bases against the Angels this year. Altuve with a couple of home runs has 38 total bases against the Angels this year.
Ooh. You've been doing your research.
This is the 12th game between the two teams. So those numbers tell you they are racking it up.
You have been grinding on those numbers.
I was looking over your shoulder at your book there. .38 total bases. Are you aware that's what I've got?
You're way ahead of me, pal. Altuve, by the way, we've been corrected. He's wearing New Balance white shoes today, not Nike. They still have the war between the shoe companies?
I sure hope so.
Figuring you might benefit somehow from that?
Somehow I'm gonna find a bargain there.
And Carlos Gomez is wearing Adidas. So it's just a white shoe tribute to Griffey. Really a popular player. A.J. Hinch had a great story about playing against him. And Griffey predicted he would hit a home run, then hit one, then winked at him when he got to home plate. Now there's the big moment. An emotional speech.
1 year ago it was Craig Biggio.
And he's there this weekend. Ground ball goes foul. How about next year?
Well, I have an anticipation.
What is it?
I think a guy who wore number 5 proudly for the Astros for many years might be doing the same thing.
Well, we're all hoping. He came so close last year. We think that this time next year, number 5 will be going in. Well, Bueno's down on strikes. Why would he be a Hall of Famer? Well, it's more like why not? Why isn't he already in, right?
Absolutely. I mean, the numbers scream Hall of Fame. You know, one of the oddities that might surprise a lot of people is that Jeff Bagwell, between he and Craig Biggio, is the higher lifetime hitter. He's the guy that hit the home runs. Yeah, we all remember that, and drove in the runs, but he hit for batting average as well. Did not get to the 3,000 hits.
He walked a lot. So Gaddis fouls it.
He did that. That shoulder got in the way in his final years.
Well, you've read many articles about it. A lot of the fans have. By many different measurements, Bagwell ranks in the top 5 among first basemen of all time.
And I'm going to guess they've got more than 5 first basemen in the Hall of Fame.
Yes, they do. Tap toward the left side. And the throw to first is in time for Escobar to end the 4th inning with no runs, a hit, and a man left. Through 4, it's 9-1 Houston. West Airlines, transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By Academy Sports and Outdoors, donating $100 for each Astros home run and $200 for each Correa home run to Houston Children's Charity. And by Toyota, let's go places. Mission Control. We're talking about this being the anniversary of the Apollo 11 landing back here on Earth. 9-1, the Astros lead it. We go to the 5th inning. Petit, Escobar, and Calhoun to bat for the Angels. And we have a correction here that the word Houston was spoken when the landing occurred on the moon. They were still in the capsule, so they had not set foot on the moon yet. Neil Armstrong was still inside.
That was not boots on the ground at that point.
No,
huh?
so we need to get this cleared up. And that's the real story. There's ball 1. Gregorio Petit, single to shortstop, his first time up. Got to get our history straight. Ground ball to third for Valbuena. And that's out number 1.
Jeff Bagwell, we were mentioning the upcoming player. 94 National League MVP. Look at the numbers. 368 batting average while scoring 104 runs. That was the strike shortened season. 110 games played, 104 runs, and 116 RBIs. Oh, wouldn't you have loved to see that season play out and find out what the numbers would have been?
Yeah, just too bad about the broken hand. But nonetheless, those numbers were eye-popping. He was hit by a pitch right before that strike came along. Yunel Escobar is 1 for 2. Ground ball, Valbuena backhands. Tagged by Marwin in time. 2 outs.
Marwin has been doing a nice job for the infielders. Starts the double play well. You know, he's not the classic power hitting first baseman, though he's hit some home runs. But, you know, you get this job done for the infielders, you might get yourself a few dinners bought over the course of the season.
Two outs, and it's Calhoun now. He lined to first and hit a sac fly. Jennifer Hamilton wants to know what's with these crazy rumors about the Astros trading Springer. I haven't heard that one. Have you?
Nope. Nope. And by the way, just because you hear people speculating names, don't worry about it. Most of those never come to fruition.
Micah Pleasant says, why are they wearing white shoes? Is it from the Mariners days or Nike? Fly ball left. Tucker backing. And it's quickly. Griffey wore white shoes. And we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. And it is 9-1 Astros.
Astros on top. Colby Rasmus was due up here in the bottom of the 5th, and he is trying to snap an 0 for 26. This has been a really tough stretch for Colby, who talked about it yesterday. He had the day off. He was off against Jared Weaver, but just a mental day for him too, just to get away from the game a little bit, think about something else before pregame, and then try to get back in here and get that hit today and get things going. And he said he doesn't feel like he's pressing so much at the plate. It's just missing pitches for him, but it can get frustrating. He said this game is all about producing, and I haven't been getting it done, so I'm going to have to figure it out. And also Alonzo Powell, Brownie, I know we were talking to him a couple of days ago. The assistant hitting coach put it this way. He said, you know, 3-point shooters have to see the ball go through the hoop sometimes just to get going. And that's what Colby needs right now. He just needs to see the ball hit the grass. All it takes is one swing.
Trying to snap that 0 for 26. He walked and scored in the 3rd inning. Pitcher number 4 is out there for the Angels, Jose Alvarez. And the lefty, who is 27 years old, takes over after Salas went 1 inning. He allowed 1 hit, no runs, had no walks, and 1 strikeout. 9 runs on 9 hits for the Astros. Colby fouls it. There's strike 1.
This is where you break out of it. You face that lefty that was brought in just to face the left-handed hitters and flare one to left, and you start a real hot streak.
We've had our Astros poll about uniforms today, throwback uniforms. Now Ash is going to be part of something that we were hearing about today, Julia.
I have not been warned about this, by the way.
It's August 6th, and Ash and Mike Scott are going to be reunited in a celebration of the '86 NLCS team, the Astros.
We're going to bring our original hairdos back too.
Oh my gosh, you have to.
So are they going to wear the rainbows, Julia, that day?
Should.
Yeah, I think
Just
they will.
go all out.
Go for it, Ash.
What a team.
Yeah, you go all out, Julia.
Well, we want to see you go all out,
Can
though.
you guys get on the field and reenact some of those great games?
Yeah, I think
too?
Scotty's going to go out there, rub it up, and bring some heat to me.
That'll be great. Fantastic day.
Once I go to the backstop and pick it up, we'll continue the ceremony at that point.
Kevin Bass.
Oh, KB. Don't be so mean with that wood.
On this date, the Astros beat the Phillies 9-3. Scotty struck out 13. Bass went 5 for 5, and you went 3 for 3 with a homer.
Red letter day.
13 strikeouts. Fouled away by Colby, 2-2. That'll be fun too.
I don't want anybody to misunderstand. I did not strike out 13 times that day.
No, you didn't. But you caught 13 strikeout pitches. Right?
Well, when Scotty went to the mound, that was kind of routine in those days.
That's going to be Alan Ashby Gnome Day, we're being told.
Yeah. Well,
no,
let me hit
no,
it. If that's the case, I need to hit in the game.
Well, you'd be in the lineup the way things are going.
Fans will have their designated go get a hot dog moment.
Did you ever have a gnome when you were playing?
I didn't know. I'm not sure I knew what a gnome was then. Travelocity hadn't been invented.
Rasmus, a strikeout victim, 1 out. Brandon Smith wants to know in the same thread, he says, which team uniforms could most use a change? Julia, I'm going to give you first shot at this. I know I have my own.
Wait a minute. What's the question?
Which team uniforms could most use a change?
You're on the clock, Julia.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, well, okay, I'll give you 10 seconds to think.
Wait, a current team uniform
Yeah.
is what I have to just throw one under the bus right here? in front
I'll
of
throw
everyone?
one under the bus if you want to wait.
Okay, let me think.
Team I'm throwing under the bus is the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Oh, yeah. I'm going with you.
Game over.
Yeah. Carlos Gomez fouls it to strike 1.
Either that or could they wash those things so we can see the name and number?
There's a play.
Yeah.
Well done. Nice Sunday crowd. Crowds have been really good throughout the weekend. And nice crowds are expected for the Yankees series starting tomorrow night. Gomez fouls one. 0-2. Any other uniforms particularly irritating to you right now, Ash?
That's the one, the Diamondbacks uni. That one, if the Red Sox were still wearing, I'd probably vote for. I don't know.
They're very smart looking, actually.
You know what? That could actually survive for a while, couldn't it? The lacing, the maybe make it look like a baseball laced up on the top there.
Love the the big red stocking there. Right on that chest. Wouldn't you be proud to wear that red stocking?
Put it on my mantle during the holiday season.
Strikeout number 2 for Alvarez.
Follow Astros baseball live with the MLB.com at-bat app. Stay up to the moment with Game Day, StatCast Live highlights, and more, even when you're at the game with Minute Maid Park's new Wi-Fi download. Wi-Fi, that's a period at that point. Download the app for your phone or your tablet now.
Don't you hate it when they throw those periods in the middle of a sentence?
It slipped my attention a couple of times.
The 1908 Red Sox. Preston Tucker has a double. He's been hit by a pitch for the 2nd game in a row.
Those Red Sox of 1908, how many years were they not realizing they were going to look forward to a World Series championship?
About a century.
Pretty close, wasn't it?
Yep. Harry Kleinman has a question for you. Didn't they have the extensive sports networks and coverage back when Dawson and Ryan were drafted? Players get more exposure right now. So, yeah, can you imagine Andre Dawson, Nolan Ryan, if they had the MLB network following those draft picks? What would have been said about them then?
Honestly, how far would Nolan Ryan's arm take to be drafted in the 1st round?
Oh, yeah.
Now, even if he was a Roger Clemens, and Roger said he gained a number of miles per hour once he went to college and started to physically grow up, I just can't imagine that that arm can slip to, what'd you say, 11th round?
12th round. You heard the story about him being scouted by the Mets, right, prior to the draft?
Well, I've heard some of the stories from Nolan himself.
Yeah, great story. We can't talk about it now because there are 2 outs and 2 strikes in the inning. Fly ball deep to right field. Tucker with a home run. Number 4 of the season for Preston Tucker. And number 4 for the Astros in this game. They lead it 10-1.
When Preston's swinging it right, he can handle the pitch up because he brings the barrel directly to the ball. When he's in a funk, and he got into a major funk before getting sent back down to the minor leagues, he raises that right elbow, and that starts the bat looping under and trying to catch up. This was just gorgeous from Preston. Get ready for water up the nose.
This is an onslaught. 10 runs on 10 hits. George Springer has scored 2. He has a 2-run single. There's ball 1 to George.
What'd you say about Don Slott?
Don Slott. 378 footer for Tucker. 4 homers for the Astros, 4 doubles. 8 of their 10 hits have gone for extra bases. 1 ball, 1 strike. Check in on the Texas Rangers. They are leading, no, they're trailing 1-0 at Kansas City. They're in the bottom of the 5th. Blue Jays beat the Mariners 2-0. Jay Happ going to 13-3, beating Wade Miley. Roberto Osuna got his 20th save. There's a look at it. Everybody's been on base except Evan Gattis. Only Gattis and Rasmus have not joined the hit column. There's one to right field for George Springer. His 2nd hit of the game.
I'd love to see the day where guys work enough on shift situations where they just do this. You want to shift me? Okay. I'll take the measly single. Thing is, you don't want to give up or give in to the single. Swing it hard and hit it in that direction.
11 hits for the Astros, 2 belong to Springer. Gonzalez is 1 for 3. Marwin moving around to the right side where he's a .263 hitter. But with Seattle losing, the Mariners, who were 5.5 behind Texas, drop a game potentially, depending on what Texas does. And they're still squarely in the mix, of course, in the AL West. That Toronto club's looking tough right now. Encarnacion hit his 27th homer. He's leading the RBI pack in the majors with 87 runs batted in.
Haven't heard anybody mention his name about MVP candidacy, but if he keeps playing like this, he has to be mentioned.
Sure does. Mariners are still 2 above 500. 6 games out. The Astros only 2 back in the loss column. That'll go out of play. Still 0-2 with Jose Altuve on deck. In that Rangers-Royals game, it's Edinson Volquez for Kansas City. And A.J. Griffin was the starter for Texas. Kendrys Morales hit his 16th homer in the 4th inning for the game's only run. And they'll have another series coming up next weekend, Rangers and Royals. Rangers are headed for Houston in a short time. We know a lot of people want to get their tickets for that series here. That'll be August 5th, 6th, and 7th. Well, that's a big weekend. Petit. Oh, he flips it away from Simmons. He flipped it behind Simmons, and they don't get the force play on Springer. Petit taking blame for that one, of course.
Watch Petit. He's looking at first base to begin with and realizes, you know, he's got the play right in front of him, but that toss is not going to get it done.
Not throwing the ball that way.
Yeah, you want that toss right over the bag if you're going to give Simmons any kind of shot at it. I think Simmons saw what I saw anyway, that it looked like Petit was going to first base.
There's a problem with Marwin Gonzalez at first base. Sort of an injury here. Jeremiah Randall out along with A.J. Hinch.
See if Marwin did anything as he goes to or goes by the bag at first. Looked like maybe when he hit the bag with that left foot, that something went amiss.
Limping, and he'll have a chance to get out of this game, get some ice on that ankle if that's what it is. In a 10-1 ball game, the Astros can make a substitution here. Probably Danny Worth comes into this game. And there comes Danny up from the clubhouse. He goes into pinch run. We might see Worth play third and Valbuena move over to first. We'll find out in a few minutes on that in the top of the 6th.
Yeah, this move may have been in the offing anyway in the next inning or two.
Yes. So Worth is the pinch runner. There was an error on the throw there from Petit to Simmons. Looked like Petit just changed his mind, as you indicated. He was looking at first base and then realized at the last second, well, I've got an easy out right here in front of me, as you said, and made a bad little toss. Altuve takes ball 1. That Texas club, you know, the pitching has been horrendous for the Rangers here in the last month or more, but then lately they've had some games when their offense hasn't clicked either. Ripped into left field. Third hit for Altuve. Springer coming home. Throw from Nava to the plate. He scores. 11-1. That's 6 runs batted in for Altuve, a new career high. And that's 60 for the season for Jose.
Starting to get in that kind of dangerous gray area where are you rubbing it in or not? A lot of times when you start getting in double digits in runs scored and you're leading by a wide margin, you don't send guys on what might be close plays to the plate. Gary Pettis sends. And I think really with George Springer running in the 5th inning, rightly so. Hopefully the Angels see it that way.
15th 3-hit game, 3rd in the majors. And Altuve started the day hitting .357. He is just having an amazing season. Carlos Correa has a pair of doubles. Yeah, there are a lot of different ways of looking at that. One is that as far as Gary Pettis is concerned, of course, he wants to get that RBI for Altuve. Another is it's only the 5th inning. That's ripped into left field. Danny Wirth is being sent home. Nava throws toward third. Altuve will go back to second. It's 12-1. Third straight hit for Correa. He has 64 runs batted in.
I really like that guy. Both cases, Altuve and Correa, the guy that goes up there and just lets it fly and drives in runs, has fun, because you're making this a great looking offensive club. And I'll tell you right now, the Angels would tell you the Houston Astros are a big time offensive club at the top of the order.
That's 13 hits. And a 12-1 lead with Valbuena batting. Luis 1 for 3, a home run his first time up. Ball 1. Rangers have come up with a run in the top of the 6th. They're still batting, tied with the Royals now, 1-1. Two balls, no strikes.
Brownie, did you see where report out that the Yankees are nearing a trade of closer Aroldis Chapman?
I saw something that indicated they might be. A fly ball to right field. Valbuena got underneath it. Here comes Calhoun. We'll get more from you on that. In the top of the 6th inning, Preston Tucker hit the 4th bomb by an Astro in this game. They come up with 3 more runs on 4 hits with an error and 2 men left. Jose Altuve is a big part of this. It's 12-1.
The Angels, we go to the 6th. It's time for our Geico quote of the day. This comes from the Rangers starter, Cole Hamels. These guys are 2-6 since the break. He says, it's not like we're down and out. We're still in first place, and that's where we're trying to stay and what we're trying to maintain. When you start putting added pressure on something, that's when you get yourself in trouble. You've got to know when to stay in your lane. And this is a lot of what I heard from the Astros clubhouse guys in April. I mean, everyone needs to think this way, especially when there's a lot of talk going on around you. You just got to focus on what you're doing. And I know you guys have more thoughts on what's going on with the Rangers, but I did want to add, for the Astros watching the Rangers every night, I think it depends on the player how much they want to be involved in what's going on around them at this point in the season. You've got guys like Carlos Gomez, who doesn't want any games on the TVs. He doesn't want people to pay attention. He wants people to focus. Then you've got Lance McCullers, who in his post-game interview 2 nights ago ended with, hey, and by the way, the Rangers lost. So I think it's up to the player and what they can focus on and what they feel comfortable with as far as what's going on around them.
Mike Fiers throws to Mike Trout. It's 1-1. Well, Cole Hamels maybe should work for TxDOT, telling people to stay in their own lanes. Ash.
Yeah, we've got plenty of issues on the highways in Texas, so do stay in your own lane.
Fouled away 1-2. J.C. Ramirez is warming up.
Everything Julia said is true and takes place in every clubhouse. I see no issue with watching the other games of import to your club.
Like that scorebook from up there.
Way better looking than mine. I know that.
Very neat. It's 2-2. Diamondbacks lead the Reds 9-5. They're in the bottom of the 8th inning. Yasmani Tomas has hit a pair of home runs, giving him 15. 3-2. All right, you were mentioning the Aroldis Chapman trade rumors, Ash.
Yeah.
What more do you have on that?
You know what? I danced away from that that story that I had, but it said that it named a grouping of clubs. You might be able to help me. Cubs were on the group along with Cleveland and Giants in there. Teams that are interested. Did not mention the Houston Astros, but never know what comes along.
Washington?
Yes, they were on that list.
I think the Cubs would really be seeking Aroldis Chapman, wouldn't they?
Chapman, a guy who within the last week multiple times at 104 miles an hour with his fastball. Unheard of.
He is headed for free agency, and Betances and Miller could stay to anchor that bullpen. So sure, they'd be missing Chapman, but nonetheless they'd still have a lot of firepower depending on what the Yankees could get in return for Chapman. Fiers strikes out Trout.
Mike Trout's had a rough series here. There you go, your scoreboard going on right now. Texas and KC locked up. You know, the Tigers, I find my eye going to them. Can they make a run at a wild card berth this year? Cleveland, Baltimore, teams that could win their divisions. Does Kansas City find their way back in the hunt?
Yeah, that might be a little troublesome. There's strike one to Pujols. He's 0 for 2. Rasmus back toward the corner and right. Watches this one sail out of play. 0-2. Cleveland, Baltimore, as you just saw, 3-3 in the 9th inning. A big game for both those clubs. Corey Kluber started for Cleveland. Vance Worley got the call for Baltimore. Jonathan Schoop hit his 17th homer for the Birds. Both those teams with identical 56 and 40 records. The liner goes foul. By the way, we talked about that Rangers series, Ash, coming up here August 5th through the 7th. That's in 2 weeks, and that's the game on the Saturday, the 6th, involving you and Scotty being down on the field before the game.
Make it sound like he's going to pitch and I'm going to swing the bat, and I don't like my chances.
Ooh.
Yeah, I got to get a hold of Scotty, find out what he's going to toss up there on his first pitch of the ball game.
Well, he might toss a pitching wedge from what we've been hearing.
Just might. If he does, it'll land nowhere near me. You heard me, Scotty.
Out toward right center field. Gomez has a long way to run here, and he slides and makes the catch.
Well, I don't know if I've seen a play in the gap made where a guy takes a full slide into the ball, and that's exactly what this was. This wasn't a last instant go down and make the slide and catch, but very well timed out. And he comes up kind of acknowledging the fans all in one motion.
The Russian judge gave it a 9.2.
I don't think he's that favorable of Major League Baseball at least in the American League.
Daniel Nava's 0 for 2. That's strike one.
Yeah, those Texas Rangers with Colby Lewis and Derek Holland each on the 60-day DL. I don't know if that's the same club right now.
Don't think it is, Ash. Tom Grieve was on an interview on the MLB Network, and he mentioned how much they've missed Colby Lewis. 1-1.
The Astro killer.
Does this remind you of last season in reverse?
It is. It's going that direction, isn't it?
It would appear that way.
Texas Rangers had a sizable 11-game lead.
Upstairs for a ball, and it's 2-1. Red Sox lead the Twins 8-5 in Boston. Andy Ramirez hit his 13th homer. Dustin Pedroia number 10. Travis Shaw number 12. Out toward left field. Tucker back in front of the big wall for out number 3. And Daniel Nava makes the play. There you have it. Nava flying out to left. 12-1.
Sixth inning. Every Wednesday night, home game is $1 Hot Dog Wednesday, presented by Nolan Ryan Beef. Your next chance for Dollar Dogs is this Wednesday's Yankees game. For more info, visit astros.com/dollardogs, or you can call 1-877-9-ASTROS.
Well, we've got one coming up with the Yankees Wednesday night. J.C. Ramirez takes over on the mound. We have other changes as well for Mike Scioscia. Ramirez 2-3 with a 5.16 ERA. Claimed off waivers June 26th from Cincinnati. Alvarez in one inning allowed 4 hits, 3 runs. He had no walks and struck out 2. Gregorio Petit has moved from second base to shortstop. Todd Cunningham's in center field, taking over for Mike Trout. Evan Gattis fouling at strike 1. Gattis 0 for 3. There's Petit now at shortstop for Andrelton Simmons.
For all the political fact checkers, that lead for the Rangers, largest of the season, was 10 games. That came on June 28th, less than a month ago. The Texas Rangers led by 10 games in the American League West.
Jeffrey Marte's at third base now. Johnny Giovitella at second. Marte checking in at third. And it's Carlos Perez at first base now.
That's a strike.
Yeah, right. 2-2. Perez, normally a catcher, fills in at first base.
It's easily a strike. All ball within strike zone, and I just don't understand how umpires miss that stuff, but they do.
Rip to left. Gaddis joins the parade. Wow, what a shot, but it's foul. He went into his home run trot. Now he'll come back.
What's he looking at here, I wonder? You know where that ball lands, and I could not see the ball in flight, I have to admit. But where that ball seemed to come down to the fans, did it not have to hit a foul pole? No, it did not. Hit the wall and angled back in that direction.
Blasted that one.
Trying to manufacture a reason the ball went to the final destination there.
Yeah. You're right. It was hit so hard we couldn't track it. Ji-Man Choi has moved to left field from first base. Well, Mike Scioscia has made a number of changes here with this 12-1 game. It's 3-2 now. Ramirez is pitcher number 5 for the Halos. And foul back. Colby Rasmus on deck. Carlos Gomez due up third in the inning. Colby gets a souvenir up to a fan. San Diego 6, Washington 6. They're in the top of the 8th inning. If that Washington trade rumor is true about Aroldis Chapman going to the Nationals. Wonder how that's going to sit with Jonathan Papelbon.
It's all about winning. Maybe I better check that one too for the fact checkers.
Wilson Ramos hit his 14th homer today. What a year he's had for the Nationals. He's hitting .338. Now this is the real thing. Gaddis hits another bomb. Number 16. That is 3 in 2 games for Evan Gaddis. And he continues to live off the gnome. 16 homers, 41 runs batted in. A no-doubter for Gaddis.
I think Evan wants to play a little more.
5 home runs for the Astros today.
And there does seem to be something about the correlation of catching and swinging the bat better.
He's going to become the first Astro to catch 70 games in a row.
See, there you go, stretching the truth.
Colby Rasmus is 0 for 2 with a walk. There's ball 1. Now Colby is the only Astro not to have a hit. Trying to snap an 0 for 27. Calls it back, and it's 1-1.
You know, the Astros early in the season were on the other side of this kind of equation. It is not a fun place to be, on that trailing, losing side, in the dugout, in the clubhouse, on the plane. Any place you happen to be gathered together, it is tough.
In for a strike, 1-2. Well, Luis Valbuena was telling me yesterday before the game how much he enjoys this team. It's a close bunch. Rasmus is down on strikes.
See what Evan does as he launches one here. No doubt on this shot, he just puts his head down and does what the blue collar worker does. It's what I do for a living.
That's his second home run trot of that at bat.
No fanfare needed. Provide me a gnome every now and then and I'll be happy.
Gnome karma continues. Gomez is 1 for 2. Strike one, a double, and he has a walk. Pirates lead the Phillies 5-4. In the late stages of that one. Top of the 8th inning. Jameson Taillon started. He gave up 4 runs in 6 innings. 0-2. Matt Joyce hit his 10th homer. Angels will be at Kansas City tomorrow night. Giovitella catches the liner. 2 outs. Preston Tucker comes up. He's had a perfect game out of the number 9 spot in terms of offense. A double, hit by a pitch, and a homer. Runs on 14 hits for the Astros, going for a sweep of this 3-game series. It's ball 1. A win today would give the Astros a 54-44 record, 10 games above 500. They finished the season 10 games above 500 last year, going to the playoffs with that record. The way things are looking, it's going to take a better record than that to make the playoffs this season. Maybe not, but the way things look right now.
And it kind of feels like with the run the club's on that, oh, that'll be fine. But you talked about the upcoming schedule. That's a tough one for Houston.
It is. Fouled away, and it's 2 balls and a strike.
Good swing on that heater.
Reinforcements are coming. We know that.
One of the thing with reinforcements that I've heard guys banty around in clubhouses, when it goes sour, they'll say, well, they broke up the chemistry we had going on.
Foul pop is caught. And that'll take care of it in the 6th inning. The Astros get a home run from Gattis. They lead it 13-1.
Take a look at those possible trade targets that have had a lot of talk about them and kind of money they currently make. What does that do to their trade value? And what's the extended coverage of the contract? All of that factors in, Brownie. And when you're talking Chris Sale, he actually is quite cheap when it comes to contract that has to be paid out. But it's not going to be cheap on the other side.
Yeah, it's an interesting topic right now. Jeffrey Marte, the batter, goes for the first pitch here and pops that one foul. Has this episode with Chris Sale and the White Sox uniforms and throwing the fit in the clubhouse. Evidently yesterday, and his 5-day suspension hurt his value, and we don't think it really has. 227 for Marte, 6 homers, 17 runs batted in.
Wouldn't bother me in the least, and I saw some sentiments yesterday that you don't want that kind of thing in your clubhouse, that kind of attitude. He's always had what has been a good team-friendly attitude.
Out toward left center field. Tucker back. 1 out. Well, he's a major talent. He's one of the very best pitchers around.
I think that's the bottom line. Does he make your team better?
Sprained left ankle for Marwin Gonzalez. That's the reason he left the game. Ji-Man Choi has shifted from first base to left field in this game. So whether Sale is trying to get himself traded, as some have speculated, or whether he just didn't like the uniforms, that remains to be seen. Gomez way back into center field. That went up on Towles Hill. He picks it up, and Choi is into second base with a 1-out double. Third double of the year for Choi.
Got a little pop, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Carlos Gomez unable to get back to that ball on the hill. Yeah, watching Carlos Gomez on the throws back to the infield, I feel like Carlos Correa might be going a little deeper than he needs to with that arm in center field. Non-issue right there, but just kind of watch those plays for when they do mean something.
Yeah, that's a thought. Jed Bandy 1 for 2. It's up to the middle infielders to know the arm strength of all the outfielders to determine what depth they should operate at in taking that throw from the outfield. Correa, of course, with a tremendous arm, so he can make that throw, relaying it in to the bases. And we'll check the depth here.
See where Carlos Correa is. He's out there considerably, and the throws from Gomez, he's just cutting them loose. He is really feeling it right now. So I would back off on him and let him bring it to you.
So then if Correa were to go, let's say, 10 feet short of where he was.
I would probably go closer to 50 feet shy.
Oh, 50.
I mean, Gomez has plenty of arm.
Yeah.
It's the accuracy that's been the issue. And if he's going to pull your shoulder out of socket trying to go up and bring that thing in, just back it off and let him pump it to you. But I would always remind, hit your cutoff man regardless of where he is.
Brings up the point about that middle infielder, though, and how important he is in throwing out the base runners. That's a deep drive to left field. Tucker will back off, look at it. That's a 2-run homer. Bandy goes deep for the 4th time this season. It's 13-3 now.
Jed Bandy has gotten enough playing time for the Angels against the Astros to show that he can perform on both sides of the game. He's got a good arm behind the plate, and he swings what looks to be a lethal bat.
He has had some good games against Houston. Now a 13-3 game as he hits number 4. That's the first Angel long ball of the day. Gregorio Petit, the batter. Petit is 1 for 2. That's ball 1 for Fiers. .86 pitches for Fiers. Nobody currently throwing in the bullpen for Houston. And it's foul back. It's 1-1. Well, this could be quite a 3-game series for the starters. Lance McCullers going 8 innings Friday night. Colin McHugh 6 last night. He could have stayed in longer, but the Astros had a nice lead. And Fiers working into the 7th in this game. Joe Smith is warming up for the Angels. Foul ball. 1-2. There's Joe Smith. The Brewers lead the Cubs 4-1. They're in the middle of the 6th in Milwaukee. Javi Guerra's their pitcher. Now we get Scott Feldman warming up for Houston. John Lester gave up 4 runs in 4 innings for the Cubs. Petit strikes out, 2 outs. You know, thinking about the Cubs, Ash, you know, here they've been operating at this historic pace for them. It's been their best season since 1908 to this point, or at least to a couple weeks ago. And now, of course, the expectations are so high that, and they have all this young talent, and yet they've added, you know, John Lester and John Lackey and the veterans along the way. What will they do now at the trade deadline to try to make sure they go deep into the playoffs?
It's hard to figure when you've had the kind of beginning to the season.
That's a looping hit for Carlos Perez
That the Cubs have had. They've played great baseball. So you play that well. Is anybody not performing for you? Do you need to go out and cover for anybody?
Yeah.
And I think that becomes a really tough question to pose about your club.
Johnny Giavotella comes up for the first time. 259, 6 homers, 27 runs batted in for Giavotella. That's a real conundrum possibly for the Cubs brass to figure out what they really do need, and they've had such a big lead earlier this season. They came into today with a 6.5 game lead on St. Louis, 8.5 on Pittsburgh. Correa on to Altuve for the force. It's 2 runs on 3 hits and a man left. The Astros lead it here in the middle of the 7th inning. We'll keep it right here for the singing of God Bless America. Mike Fiers has gone 7 in quest of win number 7 of the year, and he's been supported big time with this offense. 13-3 Houston.
It's our Sunday afternoon tradition here at Minute Maid Park. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we kindly ask that you please rise and join us as we take pause, not only to honor our great nation, but to thank and salute those who defend our freedom around the world each and every day. Please join Miss Katie Smith for the singing of God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
on top of the Angels. Bottom of the 7th inning. The Coca-Cola Value Nights package is one of the best baseball ballpark bargains. This special offer is available for select Monday through Thursday games and scores a ticket, hot dog, soda, and popcorn for just $18. For more info, visit astros.com/Coke. Coke Value, actually, or call 1-877-9-ASTROS.
House sweep it is. That sign says it will be the 8th series sweep if the Astros get this win today. Their 6th 3-game series. And the Crush City guys are out. Jake Marisnick is hitting in George Springer's #1 spot in the lineup. Springer had 2 hits and a walk. He scored 3 runs. Marisnick bounces one on through into center field against the reliever Joe Smith, who just came in. Smith is pitcher #6 for the Angels. And Marisnick adds to the hit total, 14 for the Astros.
They start getting hits like that, and maybe the worm has turned.
That's 15 hits now for the Astros. Danny Worth at 184 with no homers has 1 RBI. He went into pinch run for Marwin Gonzalez, who came out with a left ankle sprain in the 5th inning. There's Petit with a toss. Giovitello the turn, and it's a 6-4-3 double play. We promised earlier in today's game Miller time. It's brought to you by Miller Lite. Jose Altuve brought some thunder today. 3-run homer in the 1st inning off Tim Lincecum, and then in the 2nd inning another at bat off Lincecum, another homer to give him 2 homers and 5 runs batted in. He later added a 6th RBI in the 5th inning, and he is 3 for 4 in this game. Well, coming up now here in the 7th inning with another chance to add to what he's done. On a huge day, batting average up to .361, 17 homers, 60 runs batted in.
That is an insane set of numbers, but he's earned it.
And this one fielded by Petit. A quick throw to first. Good play to end the 7th inning. 13-3 Houston. Houston Astros baseball on Root Sports is presented by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. And by Lexus, the new 2016 Lexus ES and ES Hybrid. It's next level luxury. Even for that little guy. Well, they've had plenty to wave and cheer and yell about today. 13-3. The Astros lead it over the Angels. 15 hits for Houston. 9 for Los Angeles, 1 error for each club, and Scott Feldman comes out of the bullpen now. He's 5-3 with a 2.48 ERA. Ash.
Sure has done a nice job out of the bullpen. I know he would like to start, but I think this may be prolonging, advancing his career.
He's certainly done well since that move to the bullpen in May. His ERA has continued to come down. Bounces the curveball up there. And Todd Cunningham has a 1-1 count. Switch hitting outfielder. Mike Trout was 1 for 3. Cunningham at 160 has no homers, 1 RBI. Feldman pitched the final 4 innings Monday night at Oakland, giving up a run on 6 hits. That's lined and caught by Danny Worth.
When it's going your way.
Cam Bedrosian's warming up for the Angels. Albert Pujols needs to get a hit or be shut out of the hit column in this series, it would appear. He's 0 for 3 here. And he is 0 for 11 in this series without reaching base. Feldman throws strike 1 to him. Mike Fiers in 7 innings, allowed 9 hits, 3 runs, with no walks, 2 strikeouts. He's in line for win number 7. Foul away. No balls, 2 strikes. Feldman has given up just 1 run in his last 15 2/3 innings. He's been able to stretch it out and do those multiple inning performances. 1 and 2. Feldman in relief has made 19 outings. He's 4 and 1 with a 1.62 ERA. He began the year in the rotation, made 4 starts before he moved to the bullpen. Tap goes foul, 1 and 2. So with Feldman and Chris Davinsky and at times Michael Feliz, the Astros have had 3 relief pitchers who could really stay in games, take the load off some of the other guys. The Astros relievers have actually pitched just about the same number of innings as the Angels relievers and the Rangers relievers coming into this weekend series. But I think the way they've put those innings together is different because of the long men, because of Feldman and Davinsky. 1 and 2.
Saying potentially less of those 1 inning outings for the guys that are in the back of the bullpen.
Yes, and I think the Rangers 1 inning guys at the back of their bullpen have had a lot more duress this season than the Astros.
When that's the case, it oftentimes shows up in the last month or 2 of the season.
Grounded wide of third, still 1 and 2. This is game number 98 of the season, Ash.
It's getting there. Yeah, that Yankee series, Yankees coming in, you hit the 100 magic mark, and then you're basically down to that final 2 months as you run for it.
And that's when the bullpen really can be a deciding factor. You know, the managers with their clubs in position from that point on, with the 62 games remaining, once you get to 100 played, they'll go to those guys time after time. There's no reason at that point. They'll save them when they get the opportunity, but they have to try to win every game they can win. So those guys have to be the Warriors in the final 2 months. And it's a load. It really is. A lot of pressure, a lot of strain on the arm.
Yeah, what you're talking about is what all of us at times have to remember. Why is so-and-so not in the game? There's a game plan that starts every evening for manager and pitching coach, and they talk it over with the players. Those arms eventually wear down.
Still 1 and 2. Well, you were a bullpen coach. You know exactly what those guys go through.
There's a lot of anticipation down there. That phone rings. Even before the phone rings, guys know their slots, and they know what the conversation on the evening was. And it's kind of high pressure at times.
Pujols gets his hit. He's not shut out of the series. He took that opening through the right side for the ground ball single.
He's actually over the past number of years been really good at this at times, just finding the wide open side and shooting it through.
That's 10 hits for the Angels. Daniel Nava is 0 for 3 in this game. Well, that's why a weekend like this one can be so helpful also for the bullpen for the next series, with McCullers going 8 innings. Colin McHugh went 6. Mike Fiers went 7. Nava takes ball 1.
You know, on that personal note, it also applies to the team, but Mike Fiers' effort today is a big one. He can breathe a little bit now for the next 5 days.
Yes. In for a strike. There was one report today that the Texas Rangers had been pursuing Chris Sale, maybe even Jose Quintana with the White Sox, and they now have decided to shift their strategy and aim their efforts at trying to acquire one of the Tampa Bay starting pitchers.
In other words, they've made the phone call and gagged and decided maybe we need to go another way.
Line drive hit over Altuve into right field. A single for Nava. Bringing up Jeffrey Marte.
And what I imagine the White Sox and others may be saying, but for the White Sox, oh, you're interested in Sale. This is what we would be interested in if we're going to even pursue a deal.
Yes.
And at that point, I mean, you either say, okay, we are really in this or we're not.
That would be a staggering price.
You would think so.
The White Sox would be demanding in return for trading Sale, or even Quintana for that matter.
Yes.
Quintana is under a very club-friendly contract. His win-loss numbers are not eye-popping, but he's had very little run support during his career. Marte hit a fly ball to left in the 7th inning. Correa, infield fly, 2 outs. And it's Choi coming up next. 2-1 Texas at Kansas City, bottom of the 8th inning. Jake Diekman's in the game for the Rangers. Well, the Rangers just regained the services of Keone Kela in their bullpen. That should help them. He's been out for some time now.
Apparently Kela immediately in a game today.
Yeah, he pitched a 1 hitless inning. Foul ball on Choi. There's strike 1. By the way, the Rangers had claimed the Astros' Matt Duffy on waivers. He had been designated for assignment, and they have sent him to AAA Round Rock. Upstairs a ball, makes it 1-1.
Quick fall from Grace.
Well, he was the MVP of the Pacific Coast League last year. And in the mix for the Astros, he was on the club to open the season. And then once he was sent down to AAA, he didn't have good numbers there at all. 2 balls and a strike.
Pretty good looking pitch there.
Yes, it was. Max Stassi hit a walk-off homer for Fresno Friday night. Grounder right side. Valbuena, good play. Firing over to Feldman. No runs, 2 hits, 2 men left. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Here's a nifty play by Valbuena, who's moved across the diamond. Comes up with this one well, braces, and the accurate throw keeps the Angels off the board in the 8th, 13-3.
Time to tell you the winner of our Chevy Stroh poll. We thank everyone for voting on our Twitter page, Root Sports SW. We asked you which throwback uni is your favorite. Oh, here's our winner. Kutch is sporting the 70s, 80s Pirates look. Here's how it went down, though. 43% they came up with the win. The White Sox, oh, fell short.
Did Chris Sale vote in that poll, or do we know that?
I don't know.
Hey, Julia stated accurately, the White Sox were second on that list.
How about this, Julia, from good friend Peter Russell, who's a fan of the Houston Buffs.
Are those knees I see?
Yep, shorts worn by the Houston Buffaloes, played outdoor baseball.
Avert your gaze.
Ah, those still look pretty hot to be playing outside of this
Well,
time.
yeah, as you know, and the mosquitoes were larger than B-52s.
That's what I hear.
So there you have it. 13-3. New pitcher in the game for the Halos, Cam Bedrosian. Foul back by Carlos Correa, who has 3 hits today and an RBI. A couple of doubles for Carlos. Joe Smith in 1 inning gave up 1 hit, no runs, had no walks, no strikeouts. Cam Bedrosian, pitcher number 7 for Mike Scioscia in this game. Well, the Angels were rolling when they came to Houston. They had swept a 6-game homestand. They were scoring all kinds of runs. Oh.
I don't see that as intentional. They were trying to come in and the fastball got away. Just time to relax. It's a dangerous area, though.
Yes, it is. Correa fouls it, and it's a 1-ball-2-strike count to Carlos Correa. Bedrosian pitched a couple times on the last homestand for the Angels, a couple of innings of work. He's not been charged with a run in each of his last 20 games, covering 18 2/3 innings. That's the longest streak of his career, tied for the 7th longest in Angels history. Foul by Correa. Texas continues to lead 2-1 in the top of the 9th now at Kansas City. Wade Davis in the game, with the Royals trailing by a run. That's interesting. Normally he comes in with the lead, of course, in those situations. But the Royals are in need of starting to move if they're going to get to the playoffs. They're at 500 right now. Correa strikes out. Strikeout number 7 for Angel pitching. Luis Valbuena homered his first time up. He's 1 for 4. Gaddis comes out to the on-deck circle. It's been a banner day for the Houston offense. 13 runs on 15 hits, 4 home runs, and 4 doubles. Valbuena part of a 4-run first, and the Astros followed that with a 4-run second. They got 1 in the 3rd, and they led 9-1 after 3. Strike to Valbuena. Delino DeShields hit his 3rd homer of the year. That was in the 7th inning to give the Rangers a 2-1 lead over Kansas City.
He's back, huh?
Yeah, he's back. 0-2. The Astros with a win today would be 27-21 within the American League West. One and 2. They continue to really reel off the wins at home. They've won 20 of their last 26 here at Minute Maid Park. Their record is just about the same as it was last year at this point.
Baltimore Orioles are 35-14 at the start of play today at home So they have thoroughly taken advantage there, but the Astros have the next best mark in terms of wins. No, I take that back. Boston on ahead of them.
Okay.
33.
2-2. This is the Astros' longest winning streak against any American League team in club history. 10 straight over the Angels. And they have had a 12-game winning streak against both the Phillies and the Reds, both in 04 and 05. And somebody asked us earlier on Twitter, have they ever swept a season series from a team? Yes, they have. I don't know if it's been from a team in their own division.
Well, you see those 6-0 type seasons, but with 19 games in your own division now, that would be quite a year.
That's a tall order. Sweeping a 19-game series. Foul tip strikeout, 2 outs. Evan Gattis ripped a homer in the 6th inning. He's 1 for 4. Just looking at the home run distribution of the Astros. Altuve's hit 2 today. So he has 17 for this season. George Springer leads the club with 21. Carlos Correa hit his 16th today. And Evan Gattis also hit number 16. Or no, that was Correa last night. So Correa's at 15 and Gattis at 16. So they're getting some pretty good distribution there. And also Luis Valbuena hit number 13 today. So he'll be the 5th to get to 15 when he hits a couple more. Colby Rasmus has 11. So they should, by all rights, have at least 6 players with 15 homers or more by the end of the season at that pace. That's pretty good distribution. One and 2.
You talked about the scoreless efforts by Bedrosian, getting a peek as to why he's bringing some stuff.
He made his debut right here. His dad was here. Longtime major league closer Steve Bedrosian. Cam was a first-round pick in 2010. Royals are now batting in the bottom of the 9th, trailing the Rangers 2-1. Broken bat fly ball to right center, caught by Calhoun. We go to the 9th inning, 13-3 Astros. And 5 home runs for the Houston Astros. Jose Altuve hit a couple in the first 2 innings. He had driven in 5 after the second inning ended. Luis Valbuena's gone deep for the 13th time. Preston Tucker hit his 4th. And then we have all the doubles in the mix. Evan Gattis hit a home run. That's been a whole lot of fun offensively for the Astros today.
Sometimes what you take out of this is that feeling, that let it fly and enjoy yourself feeling, and hopefully that carries over for the club.
13-3 with a 15-hit attack. And it goes to the 9th inning for Scott Feldman. Jed Bandy to bat. He has had a good day, 2 for 3 with a 2-run homer in the 7th inning for the Angels. The Astros, with their 5 homers, have 126 this season now. There's a curveball, strike 1. They're in the middle of the pack. They were 9th in runs scored coming into today, but their ERA continues to get better. And they were 2nd in the American League in ERA starting today, but their ERA at home is 3.17. They have not hit as well generally at home as they have on the road. Out toward right center field. Rasmus, 1 out. We go to Julie Morales.
Thanks, Brownie. Show your support for our Cy Young winner by joining us tomorrow night in Keuchel's Corner, presented by Houston Methodist. You'll get a ticket, beard, and a Keuchel's Corner t-shirt. For more information, visit astros.com/Keuchel's Corner or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. Hey, Colin McHugh got the cutest note today when he was opening his fan mail. He received this from a kid, obviously, who said, "Colin McHugh, I like your curveball a lot." Ooh. Colin put this on his Instagram. He said, "I remember writing notes like this to John Smoltz and throwing them into the bullpen at Turner Field." He said, "It makes me happy to know that stuff like this still happens." Pretty cute.
Curve, K-E-R-V. Love it. Gregorio Petit is 1 for 3. Did you see that movie Trouble with the Curve, Ash?
Yes. Didn't buy into a whole lot of it, but it was a sweet film.
Well, you know Hollywood. You grew up close to it.
What's that supposed to mean?
You said you didn't buy into it.
That's just the cynic in me. I've met those scouts.
Okay. Those Clint Eastwood types.
Just waiting for him to start arguing with a chair on that thing. And
foul ball keeps Petit alive, and no balls, 2 strikes. Sam Dyson's in the game for Texas with a 2-1 lead over Kansas City in the bottom of the 9th inning. Nobody out yet. Valbuena, 2 down.
We got the Yankees coming to town, and Dallas Keuchel will do some work against the Yankees. 4 starts lifetime against New York. 4-0, ERA well under the 1 mark. He has not allowed a long ball. Yeah, and remember, it was Dallas Keuchel with a pretty good outing in New York to move the Astros deeper into the playoffs last year. Fun run.
Went out on opening day, and man, was it cold. But he pitched well this season. There's strike 1. Carlos Perez, the batter. Angels down to their final out, trailing by 10. Correa charging. Astros sweep the Angels. They have beaten them 11 times in a row. They're 10 games over 500 for the first time this season. 54-44. A big day with 2 homers from Jose Altuve, Valbuena, Gattis, Tucker also going deep in a 5-home run performance for the Astros. And they continue to roll, winning at 13-3.